dice to roll off.
Do I leave the heater on or turn the heater off?
Are you warm enough?
I'm fine.
Yeah, turn it off then. This is the intro, apparently, is heater on, heater off.
Our heated debate will keep me warm.
Roll off then, Robin. Oh, now that is the first draw we've ever had on one of the podcast roll-offs. Normally we draw all the time. And now we've got another draw, so we did 3s, now we're on 5s.
Well,
I want a 5, you rolled a 1. I will do the intro.
Cool.
I break a habit of a life. So welcome everyone to All Out AOS Presents Tip of the Spear, where we talk all things Spearhead. Personally, I'm extremely excited about this episode because this is my main army, the one I've done more than any other, and Robin hates it because
I could take or leave all this episode. I'm not really that bothered. If we could just skip this one.
So Robin sounds more grumpy in this one, then you'll know why. He remembers all the times I save all the wards and give all the disease.
Yeah.
But
Loaded dice.
You've had quite a busy Age of Sigmar week, Robin.
Have I?
Well,
Busy?
You have played 2 games of Spearhead.
Yeah, I played my 2 league games, which I won. Because who goes and wins ones and draws ones?
Only people who want to be consistent, I guess.
Yeah, I had a very close one where I won like 19-18, and then in the second game I won like 18-6.
So you played Ogre Mortrives, which
Yes.
I've played already, and I literally had the same. I won the first one fairly comfortably, and the second one I drew, and he had like 2 crazy second battle round 3, battle round 4, which sort of sounds as similar to your games.
Yeah. Look, like you say, I pulled very far ahead in the first 2 rounds, and then kind of scored middling in the second 2. But then obviously he had a twist which helped him really towards the end. He got the extra 2 victory points for holding 2 objectives, and I had like my hero and like 2 archers left on the board at the time. So
I think that is the thing playing against that army, is just the fact that they will almost always be the underdog. If you've played it right, I think, and you're ahead, which you should be, you need to be, then they'll get the benefit of the twists, and if that affects you, then they can have 2 crazy rounds.
He was the underdog all the way up until I think he was the underdog the entire game.
And then you have also helped out at our local stores sort of try Age of Sigmar Day.
Yeah, that was all right. I lost. So that was nice. It's always nice when you go, I'm meant to be the experienced player who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I think you're the perfect experienced player because you obviously didn't go, I'm just going to crush you, don't care if you play again.
So I did that turn 1, and then he almost killed Kragnos in a turn and half killed Broad with an archer squad that I knew was going to do damage. But I was like, yeah, they don't roll that. If I remember that correctly, they don't roll a lot of dice. They actually did roll a lot more than I was expecting. And then I was like, maybe I do need to like just go a bit more hard, otherwise I'm going to be dead by like battle round 3.
And he was playing Stormcast?
Stormcast.
And you were obviously doing your Sons
I
of
was
Behemoth.
doing the Sons of Behemoth, the Giants. I also was like, I'll take it easy. I'll put the treasure on all the small giants, all the man crushers.
I mean, that is going easy because, 40 health compared to 12.
I mean, I only had... It would have been the even points for him because I only had Kragnos and 1 small giant left at the very end.
Did Kragnos manage any crazy charges?
So, he really wanted Kragnos dead. I obviously did not. Turn 1, he did like 16 wounds to him with Yanastra. Because obviously Yanastra is designed to kill monsters.
Yeah.
I then turned around and smashed the other unit he brought in with Kragnos, just straight up killed it.
Ooh.
He then doubled me. Luckily, Sons, I managed to heal Kragnos up a little bit. And then Yanastra, as we've said, she's prone to do. She's just as prone to do it in the big game. She just completely whiffed.
Ooh.
And the little damage she did get through, I managed to ward, luckily. And then obviously Kragnos just smashed her because he can do like 40 damage a turn if he wants to, fairly consistent. But on the flip side, I did then later on, he did cost me the game because I was against 2 Reclusians and a small hero who had 6 health, and he did not manage to kill either of them. If I'd have killed out of that combat, I would have been able to have took objectives and whatever. But, you know, not every model can be super consistent, I guess.
even consistent models sometimes just roll all ones.
Well, that's basically what it was. His Dread Mace, which was the 3 red one, just just completely whiffed.
Yeah.
And then his other two that were Rend 1 and Rend 2 did probably what they were meant to do. And then he just rolled like 3 6s on his save.
But we've already talked for long enough not about Maggotkin of Nurgle, so let's get in.
Well, I was trying it.
You've been stalling.
I've been stalling.
Let's get into it. Currently, but not soon to be the only Maggotkin of Nurgle spearhead, we're looking at the Bleak Coast. It's an unusual spearhead, mostly because I can say its name without struggling.
You going to say all the names of all the abilities then?
Yeah, I think I'm okay with them.
Oh, that's all right.
Even like the Locus of Fecundity. You get 6 units. Your general is the Spoilproc Scavenger, if that's how you say it.
Don't worry, he's not too important to the army.
He's not, to be fair. I spend most of the time with him just avoiding the enemy and hoping he survives. You get 2 Pustule Blight Lords, but 1 in each unit, so each by themselves. You get 5 Putrid Blight Kings, and then you get 2 units of 5 Plague Bearers.
So quite a bit, really.
Obviously, notably, you don't start with all of them on the board. You have one of your Plague Bearer units and one of your Pustule Blight Lords in the ether, ready to be summoned and bring disease to people. Plus, you do have everything. You've got your little infantry hero who's not magic but has abilities.
He's your buffing guy.
You've got your unit to sit on objectives, which is your Plague Bearers. You've got your Blight Lords, who are the unit that really sit on objectives and can dish out damage.
Yeah.
And then you've got your cavalry unit. So you kind of have a bit of everything.
Yeah. Obviously, your cavalry's not the fastest cavalry in the world. And considering you're in a bit of a slow army already, that's not great. But as we've spoke about before, we'll find out why necessarily stuff coming in late isn't always a bad thing for them.
I think it's one of the best things. So your battle trait is your disease. But the way their disease mechanic works is every time that you roll a critical hit, which is a 6, on any hit rolls, you get a disease. You can't get any more than 7. And to be honest, I do rarely get to 7 unless just everything's in combat. So I'm rolling that number of dice. And then at the end of the term, you get to allocate that disease to any unit that you're in combat with. And kind of the important and good thing about this is that you can allocate it however you like. So it's not like you're having to go, I'm going 3 here and 3 here, splitting it between 2 units. You could literally go, that unit there's got 1 health left. I'll roll a dice for that unit. I rolled because you've got to roll a 4 or more to do the mortal damage. I've rolled a 3. I'll go to that unit again and roll another one and kind of keep going. And that is such a point scorer. Because if you're on the objective like, I'm 1 off controlling it, right, my disease goes there. Or you're, that unit that's got to hit back hard in their turn, I'm going to whittle that down and kill a few of them before they get to.
Well, like you say, you've left that hero on 1 health and you've got cut off the head. Potentially got 7 mortals coming their way. I know, obviously, work it out halves and whatever, on average 3, but...
Yeah. War of attrition. You know, you've just not quite killed that unit. I think that is probably up there as one of the top battle traits in the game.
Yeah.
And annoyingly, I wish this is how the mechanic worked in the full game. I think the full games is worse. I mean, it'll be really interesting to see what they do with the new spearhead. If that disease mechanic's the same or is it completely different? If it'll mirror the new one that will come in the next game. So your regiment abilities, you have Locust of Fecundity. Once per phase, your hero phase. Pick a friendly unit, heal D3 that unit.
Real simple, pretty good.
Really good. Yeah. I think because there's nothing in your army's got 1 health.
Yep.
So you're almost all, if you've not got anything injured, brilliant. But you know what I mean? You're almost always going to be able to do it. And your Blight Lords are brilliant to do it on. And your Blight Kings are also good to do. And maybe your General. The Blight Lords, the amount of times I've had one that has gone into combat, he's done a bit, they've done a bit, my disease has done a little bit more, and then I've healed him. And so it's looked like they've done nothing to him. And the fact there's no range on it, it's just
happens.
Heal D3. There's no unit in friendly territory, unit from a certain model. It's just D3. And the other one, and which still is pretty good, is Infested with Wonders. Each time a friendly model is slain, before removing it from play, you can pick an enemy unit within 1 inch and roll a dice. On a 4-up, inflict 1 mortal damage onto that unit.
Yeah, it's not a terrible ability.
I think that's really good. The only downside I see with that is you don't have actual many models.
Yeah.
If you had a unit of 10, I was just thinking for our 100 celebration game. Maybe I should have chosen that, because if you had your unit of 10, every time one of them's dying, imagine you did that with clan rats. Every time one died, you're rolling a 4-up, and then they're coming back. Oh, that'd be horrible.
That'd be nasty.
We've only actually got 12 models on the unit for the start.
Yeah, you've also got the awkward thing of that model has to be within 1 inch.
I assume obviously it's replicating the fact that disease has got to be passed.
Yeah.
Close quarters. That's kind of why it's that. So yeah, you're right. It is. It's not just when the model's removed do a mortal damage on a 4-up. It is within 1 inch.
You could potentially also, like you say, you could mitigate that ability a little bit. If it was like maybe 3 inches, you'd be fine. But
to be honest, I pretty much always pick the Locust of Fecundity, because I think healing is just never a bad thing.
Yeah.
Maybe the other one, if I am looking at going, well, they've just got no wards. That's another way of me giving them mortal damage to cripple them. Maybe choose that. If I'm going against like a Suns that I know could do a lot of damage to me.
I don't know.
I mean, each time a friendly model is slain, stuff them in the bag. He's still giving it to them then.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, so you know what I mean. I do feel like maybe that's situational. For enhancements, you've got Summoner of Plague Bearers. Pick a friendly Plague Bearer unit wholly within 14 of your general. Return 1 slain model to that unit, and that is end of any turn.
So both turns. So potentially pretty good.
I like it. I also, what's 1 Plague Bearer going to do, I think is my mindset on that one.
I mean, 14 inches is nice. If your general's sort of in the centre, it can get most places.
I don't think it's a bad one at all, and it's not having to roll for it. You're just returning that one same model, which is really nice.
Maybe if you started with both Plague Bearers at the start.
I think that would make it much better. Yeah. I'd look at that one much more if that was the case. Yes. You've got your Gardener of Nurgle. This is in your movement phase. If your general is contesting an objective not contested by any enemy models, roll a dice. Friendly units have a 4+ ward while they are contesting a desecrated objective. If your opponent gains control of the desecrated objective, it is no longer desecrated. How many times can you fit desecrated into one sentence? A lot, apparently.
Apparently 4.
That is my go-to. Definitely when you are going first.
Yeah.
Because it can be a little tricky if they move up to the middle, because they've got to have no models on it for you to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And is it really worth it putting on a back objective? Might be not. But if I'm going first, I'm moving my general up to that middle objective. I mean, and it's still, it's a 3-up.
Yeah,
I missed it. I played once in our league last time. I played Slaves of Darkness. First game, I got that off, was in the middle. He brought his Chaos Knights on, charged in, so 2 Ren, 2 damage, hardly did a thing.
Yep.
Because 3-up save with a 4-up ward's crazy.
Yeah.
Next game, I did exactly the same thing, moved them all up, failed that charge. Chaos Knights came in, I think they killed like 3 Black Kings. And I was like, oh. And I think I drew that game somehow. So it is one where you can really rely on it, and it can really let you down. So that is definitely my go-to, 100% when you're going first. Maybe look at the board, look at what you think they're going to do if you're going second, and decide whether that back objective having. I mean, it's good because you could leave your general back on a back objective with a 4-up ward. Keeps him alive longer. When I did play someone, he was like, oh, so that's a crazy bit. It's like once per battle. I'm like, no, you can... And it was like going, what? So you could literally just wander around all the objectives on the board as long as they're not on it. I don't think I've ever done it more than 1 objective.
I think you would struggle to get it on more than 2. And even then, you're probably like, cool, my starting objective and maybe the middle.
Yeah. You've got your Pestilent Breath, which is your shooting phase. Pick an enemy unit within 7 of your general and roll a dice for each model in that unit. For each 5-up, inflict 1 mortal damage onto that unit.
That's not a bad ability.
Anytime I'm playing an army with units of 10, I look at that and go, yeah, probably worth it. The funny thing that puts me off is, though, I go, well, the unit of 10's probably reinforced. Sometimes, is it a good ability? Oh, I've killed 3 or 4 of them. But then I'm in combat and I've killed the other 6 now that all 10's coming back. I'd have rather have just killed 5 or 6 and then left them with that awkward 4.
Yeah, or if you're just facing an army that's got a decent save, a Stormcast unit that's got 5 models, you could potentially kill one.
Yeah.
They've not got a ward. I mean, my only thing that I was looking at is, as we've said, General's not exactly a combat general.
No.
7's pretty close.
7's pretty close.
7 is Ah, well, they piled in, and now I'm in combat.
Yeah, I mean, because obviously when I do the Garden of Nurgle, I need to move him up to the middle of the board, but I normally do him in the middle and the Blight Kings. And I go, well, if you're going to hit my general, you're not hitting my Blight Kings.
Yeah.
That's kind of my way of looking at it. But you're right, 7 is not really where you want him to be. And your last one, your Gift of Febrile Frenzy. Once per battle, any combat phase, until the end of the phase, add 1 to the attack characteristic of a melee weapons used by friendly units while they are wholly within 7 of your general.
Pretty powerful ability, especially with the Blight Kings. That makes them 4 attacks each.
If they're 4 already, it makes them 5 attacks, so 25 dice. And obviously what, and we'll talk about this with the disease, what you're looking for is just numbers of hits that can be 6s.
So in theory, you should get, on average, 4.
Which is brilliant. You know, you've already more than halfway towards what you need with that. Anything that gives them more hits is really, really good. Obviously, once per battle, so you've got to pick your time for it. And again, your general's got to be wholly within 7, so you do need him right up to that unit. But I've actually never read that correctly before. I read it originally that you had to choose the unit you were giving it to. That's just any units within 7, wholly within 7.
Yeah.
So you could have your Blight Kings.
In theory, have your whole army if you castle really well.
Really, yeah. But you could have your Blight Kings and your Plague Bearers, because there's an ability to give your Plague Bearers already +1 to attacks. They could have 15 dice at crit mortals.
Ooh, that's not bad.
That's pretty good. I might look at that one more often now, because I've obviously not read that properly.
It'd be really hard, but if you could basically just move up, charge in, everything kind of in that bubble, that'd be great. Unfortunately, isn't Nurgle's.
No.
Struggle with that one.
You're all equally slow, so you might be able to do it. Those are your 4 abilities. Moving on to the army, we have your Spoilpox Scavenger. He is Nurgle, so he moves a whole 4 inches. He's got 5 health, a 5 up save, 2 control score. Obviously, he's got his 5 up ward, because currently that is what all Nurgle units have.
Yeah.
Hoping there's no changes soon.
I am.
He actually has a shooting attack, which has got a 7-inch range. So unfortunately, it is one where you're having to stick him up the board, whether you want to or not, if you want to shoot that. It's D6 attacks, and it hits on 2. So you're going, whoa, this is going to be crazy. Wounds on 4s, no rend, 1 damage. Can do it in combat.
Yeah.
But I genuinely, when you play a game against someone and you kind of go, have you played Nurgle? No. Okay, I'll just briefly go through. My go-to is always, by the way, this never does anything. And if it does, I will apologize, because it just never does. You are searching for your 6s with that thing.
Yeah.
That's the only good thing that I think about it, is that if I roll a 6 on the D6, I'm getting 6 dice to try and get 6s. So that is another way just to give myself disease.
Yeah.
That's my hope. But don't expect that to do any damage. And in combat, it's got 3 attacks, 4s to hit, 3s to wound, 1 rend, 2 damage. So pretty standard little infantry hero who's not super fighty.
I think he's probably slightly worse.
Only getting 3 dice.
Yeah.
But he's not there for the damage.
No.
His ability, though, you are there for. Pick a friendly Plague Bearer unit wholly within 14 of this unit to be the target. Add 1 of the following effects until the start of your next turn. Either add 1 to the attack characteristic of the unit's melee weapons, or add 1 to save rolls for the target unit. I hardly ever pick the saves, because they're already saving on a 6.
Yeah.
Saving on a 5 isn't much better. Maybe if I know the unit's just got no rend at all, so 5 is better.
If you're just having that long drawn out, who's going to take control over it?
But then
I've got the 2 chaff units.
But then I'd rather have 10 dice at crit mortals than 5, because they've only got Plague Bearers only got 1 attack each.
Yeah, true.
So I'd much prefer the chance I do spike off and just roll 10 6s.
Plus your crit mortals then have the fact of they can potentially add another 1 to your disease.
Yeah. More dice. It's anything that gives you more dice for your disease, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good ability.
The fact that you get a choice of it and it just happens.
I mean, 14's pretty generous as well.
Yeah.
It's not bad. The amount of times, though, that obviously late game, my first unit of Plague Bearers are dead, and my second unit are like the other end of the board, because that's kind of how they get their movement, is when they come in. So they're not within that 14. So I rarely get it off maybe the first 2 battle rounds, but when you get it off, I think that is a really good ability. I tend to use him as more of a help a unit control an objective, because he's just got the 2 control score, and
Yeah.
hope he's managed to give him the 4 at ward, or kind of leave him back to stop them from if they got
Screen stuff out.
teleporting or whatever. Just that's what I tend to use him for. Whether that's good or not, I don't know, but that ends up being his role most of the time. You've got your Puskul Blight Lords. So again, you get 2 of them. They are their own separate units, and one comes down in the 3rd battle round. But the one you start off with can move 8. It's got 8 health, a 4 up save, and 2 control score. I think the 8 health is probably literally the best thing about that.
Yeah, 4 plus save.
Yeah,
also.
4 plus save's good, but the fact that if they've got an ability that's like against a unit with less health, or he ignores all of that.
Can't stuff them in a bag. Can't
swallow it up.
Swallow it.
Yeah, it's immune to all of those, and the fact that 8 health, you could have done 7 to it, and it's still attacking in the same way, rather than a unit with 10 health. Once you've done 7 of them, they're only attacking with 2 models, maybe.
It's also cavalry, which means most abilities to debuff stuff tend to be against infantry.
Yeah.
Again, you're probably not taking it for doing a massive amount of damage.
He does not do damage. He has the craziest stats because he gets 3 attacks with kind of his attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s, 2 rend. What has 2 rend randomly like that? I don't know. There's not like a big monster.
Outside of heroes, not a lot has 2 rend.
And 1 damage.
Yeah.
So you do all that. So the most you're doing is 3.
Yeah.
But you look at it, you're 2 rend. And unfortunately, he's not one that gets any kind of bonuses on the charge or anything like that. The second attack, you get 6 dice, 4s to hit, 2s to wound, no rend, 1 damage. Again, he does chip damage, I think is how I describe it.
Do a little bit.
You can't charge him by himself into anything and go, I'll wipe that unit. He just doesn't. But he'll do a little bit.
Yeah.
And you either then doing your disease with the rest, or he does have, when he does charge, Wreck and Ruin. If this unit charged this phase, pick an enemy unit within 1 inch of it to be the target, roll a dice, on a 2-up, inflict D3 mortal damage to the target. 2-up's really good.
Yeah.
I'm amazed sometimes I have missed it on a 1, but you shouldn't. And D3 mortal damage before it's even 4, good.
The fact that you are almost guaranteed to at least do 1 mortal is nice.
Because of the 8 health, he's not a bad unit to retreat onto an objective. The amount of time I do that, I'll charge him into something, have a combat, or they charge me, have a combat, and then on my turn, because he's flying, I just fly him over them onto that objective behind them. Yeah. 8 is tricky. You've got to maybe plan your pile. Base. You've got to plan your pile in as well, to maybe look ahead for that. But he is very good for that, because if he'd only had 5 health and he'd taken a few, you could kill him on that. Where typically he'll survive. And I've healed him D3 as well. My favourite part of the army, Robin, your Putrid Blight Kings. 4-up moves, so very slow. 3 health, 3 save, 1 control score. So you got 5 in the unit. So you only got 5 control scores. So they're kind of going to struggle controlling things unless you've managed to do these abilities and basically kill them. So they do get 4 attacks each. 3s and 3s, 1 rend, 1 damage. So 20 dice and 1 rend. So they can do damage, especially against something with a bad save. The 1 damage thing, I think, they're not that really hard hitter unit, but they hit hard enough. Yeah. And the 20 dice. You want them in a combat and you want to hit first, or if not, if they hit you, but you save them and you ward them, so that you're rolling all 20 dice and you're just looking for them 6s.
Yeah.
And they're your banker unit, because nothing else rolls enough dice to get them consistently. So they're your banker unit for trying to get your disease. And their ability is very good. So, Relentless Attackers. Pick an enemy infantry unit in combat with this unit to be the target, and roll a dice for each model in this unit that is within the target unit's combat range. For each roll that exceeds the target's health characteristic, inflict 1 mortal damage. That on a unit of 2 health or 1 health is just crazy, because you're going to get most of them off.
Yep.
And you're doing mortal damage. If they've got any wards, they're just dying. Full transparency, when we first started playing, I read that rule wrong, because there's lots of this unit, that unit. I was doing it for each model in the opponent's unit. And I was like, that unit of 10, I could literally kill the whole unit if I rolled no 1s on this roll. And they didn't have a ward. And it was pointed out to me, I was like, no, it's your unit. I'm like,
yeah,
that does change it. But your tanky unit, you shouldn't lose too many too soon. So the fact that is just a higher than their health characteristic is really good against anything
And
small.
it makes up for the fact of, like you say, they're not the most damaging in combat. So if they go up against a good save army, they don't have a ward. That's how they get round it.
Yeah. So you're doing that. You're then doing your disease on them. You could look at a unit and be like, yeah, I could kill that unit this turn.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's on an infantry hero and it's got 5 health and you happen to roll a 6, that's just 1 mortal damage onto it. I know that's lucky if you do, but it's just extra bit of damage you're getting through. Because I think good players will look at them and go, I'll avoid that with that unit, and go in with my Carnosaur or go in with a cavalry
But like you
unit.
said, a good player will just turn 1, stick them in the middle of the board. And obviously one of Nurgle's weaknesses is they're slow. If you can lock the fly up and you've got a fast army, you can sort of avoid them.
Lock it up or kill it. I've had the fly die early in a few games and I've gone, okay. I'm just hoping I don't get cards that require me to be at the other end of the board now. If I get them 3rd, 4th battle round, brilliant, but now I'm really going to have a bad start. And finally, your last unit, your Plague Bearers. So again, 4 up moves of slow, 2 health each, 6 up save, and 1 control score. So they're not surviving. 2 health, so 10 overall in the unit, but they're not surviving long if something really is good at killing.
If you want it dead, it's dead.
And their attacks, they only get 1 attack, 4s and 3s, no rend, 1 damage. So you literally are looking out for your crit mortals, because that is the best thing about their attack. You're lucky if you get anything else through. Again, coupled with the general, you can have them hitting with 10 dice. You could have them hitting with 15 if you pick both those 2 abilities. So they could do a lot, but you are just hoping they sit there long enough to hold something up in combat.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're sort of your go around and do stuff model. And if they end up in combat, they end up in combat.
And they don't, again, unless they're in the combat with something really killy, but if it's really killy, it's killing them and not your more important things. So it's not always bad. It does have a good passive, where apparently there's so many flies around it that you try and shoot it, you're accidentally shooting the flies, I guess. It's just a haze of units. So you do have to subtract 1 from hit rolls for shooting attacks that target this unit. The amount of times that I'll use this against a shooting army, that my Blight Kings will be hid behind a wall, my flies as far back as it can go, and they're the one thing I'm a general, I've just shoved out somewhere else, because you're going to be -1 to hits from a general from Guarded Hero, and -1 from that to them. So you end up affecting your shooting round. So that is your army. So the fact they've got a 5-up ward, I think, is probably the best thing about the army, because nothing comes back, nothing is reinforced. You know, if you have a bad start and you lose your Plague Bearer and you lose your fly, you got 2 things on the board till the 3rd battle round. But I would say that the fact that the 3rd battle round you get your 2nd unit of Plague Bearers and your 2nd Blight Lord is so good.
Yeah, because with your ward and your Blight Kings, you're quite a tanky army. Obviously, your general and your Plague Bearers aren't, but the fly, especially if you pick the healing with the Blight Kings, you're quite tanky. So you can't half commit. You've got to go in to kill it, which means you've got to leave that back. All right, you can maybe leave a little bit back or whatever, but you've kind of got to go all in to kill them, which then means you can drop all of your nasty stuff in the back. Takes objectives, scores cards.
And if you have listened to our one that we talked about, maybe changes that could make the game maybe more balanced or whatever, the nerf I would put on these would be a wholly on your territory, or we said maybe wholly within an edge. But because it's anywhere, especially when your opponent's not played them before and kind of maybe forgets about it and leaves those back objectives, because you're slow, so I've moved not far, and they've run up to me to try and smash and kill me, and then I pop them on the back objectives. And if you get lucky with your cards and you end up getting like take 2 objectives, enemy territory not in combat, and the back edge, you're getting like 3 points just on cards from those units coming down.
Yeah, it's a weird one where sometimes you'll hear us say, yeah, stuff coming in late's not great for this army. It kind of hurts the ogres, but they sort of need that to balance them. I think it's actually, you can just have a bad game where someone rolls well and smashes you, and you've gone,
doesn't matter when they come
I'm dropping 2 units. No, I've lost.
Yeah.
Like you say, I think it really benefits you.
They give a slow army mobility.
Yeah.
Daft as it sounds, just because they come in late and it's anywhere.
if you maybe weren't such a defensive army, I would say this was bad. But because you can effectively weather the storm, I think it actually is a big benefit for the army.
So that is the Maggotkin of Nurgle army. I have won a quest night with them that was Fire and Jade. I've come second in a Fire and Jade spearhead at Warhammer World with them.
You won our tournament.
I won a one-day tournament at our local store with them. Yep.
Which you beat me in the finals.
Yep. Not you bitter about it. So yeah, so I've taken these to quite a few tournaments, and I don't think I've come lower than 4th.
Yeah, I mean, they're a really good army. I'd say their one weakness is they're not very fast, but the spearhead board isn't that big.
The one thing that I would say, so when we were doing our leagues and we were trying to get the games in, I had 4 games with them in a row, 2 against one army, 2 against another one. And by the 3rd or 4th game, I was a bit like, there's just not enough to them for this game to be exciting anymore, because I know what I need to do. There's no point doing anything different because that will not be good. So they are a bit one-dimensional in the sense that your Blight Kings are up in the middle of the board, your Plague Bearers are trying to do things, your Fly's trying to move around places, maybe score cards and hold things up, and you're waiting for that 3rd turn and see what the state of the board is. So I was bored by game 4. Yeah. Whereas other armies, I think I don't feel that because there's more going on, or maybe I've not played as much with them, so I'm still figuring them out. But overall, if I was entering a tournament and I really, really wanted to win, this would be one of the armies that I would be choosing between. Painting, building, how they were to put together, aesthetics, they are and I'm realizing this, the more spearheads that I make and paint, they are probably one of the best for putting together and putting a bit of paint on, and no matter your skill level, they look good, because the worse they look, the more they look diseased and horrible. And
yeah, you can be a bit scruffy and a bit messy, and it kind of works.
It kind of works. So I would put this up there if you are really infused with the painting bit, but you don't want them to look terrible. These are probably one of the best armies from that.
But then on the flip side, if you really, really want to go into detail,
yeah,
you can.
Yeah, I've seen some really nice ones where they really emphasise kind of the disease part of them and like the pustules. And for that, and they're not bad to build either. They're fairly straightforward. I wouldn't say any of the models are really, wow, stand out, look at that.
Yeah, you don't have no like impressive centerpiece.
So I do think that maybe affects what we'd give them. But I was thinking 3.5.
Yeah, 3.5.
I think that I couldn't give them any higher because they've not got a standout model, but to just how easy and fun they are to paint, and the more I do on armies, the more I realise that I think they are really good for that. Competitiveness, playability, fun.
1.
Well, I give them a 10 and we average at 5, so that's fine. I wouldn't give them a 5 simply because they do just lack that extra anything. You know, that they are one-dimensional.
Yeah, they do one thing and they do one thing really well.
Really well. But again, I did get a little bit bored. And I think an army that we're going to give 5, you're probably going to play all day long and not get bored of playing.
Yeah, we kind of like, obviously, they are mostly getting this score from the fact that they are very, very competitively good. They can get screwed a little bit by cards. And I suppose a really good player with a really fast army could play round them quite well.
I mean, I know someone who was playing Nurgle and they lost to the Gloomspite Gits with the chariots and everything because they basically just went, I just ran round him.
Yeah.
And
if you just maybe fail a few of your like you don't quite get your charges in that you need.
And you're slow if it's one that's objectives are maybe far away from you and you can't get there. And big chariots are big bases. They could block out big parts of the board for you bringing your units in. They get put somewhere that's not helping you. I could see a game where you just get run around by a fast army. Especially if they just target one unit, kill it, run away. Target another unit, kill it, run away.
Like I say, if you can get the Blight Kings to chase you, they're not sitting on that objective for the 4+ ward.
Yeah.
If you've got enough to sort of run around, and so there is ways to beat them.
Definitely.
Again, some armies don't necessarily possess those. Some armies possess that in spades.
I would probably say 4.5.
Yeah.
That is our Maggotkin of Nurgle review, as disgusting as it was.
Yeah. If your friend's thinking of getting them, tell them no. They're boring. Actively don't show them this podcast. This is the one podcast that I do not want you to share with your friends. The less Nurgle players, the better.
Yeah, the less the better. I'm the only Nurgle player in the whole world now. Yeah, probably not, because then they discontinue the army, because it's not financially viable me buying it. We are all podcasting. We're on YouTube,
Spotify, Apple.
very wide ranging. We're in new countries as well. I think we're in like Norway now.
Hello, our Norwegian fan.
Fan, yeah. I think it is one, so I think it is fan. Yeah.
You can spread it to your friends. I'm probably never going to go play Warhammer in Norway.
No, you never know.
But don't come to England and play with them.
It is time for your outro.
As a wise man once said, "Ooh-wah-ah-ah. Come on. Get down with the sickness."
How long did it take you to come up with that one?
Oh, instantly.
That was pretty good.
One of my... Well, I was going to say...